Yo, welcome to WizLovesCars, and this is the 2022 Kia Niro plug-in hybrid. Welcome back, y'all. And for my new folks, go ahead and mash that like and subscribe button if you like the content. So I've been getting a lot of requests from y'all to do some more affordable cars as well as some fuel efficient cars. So what better car to start with than a plug-in hybrid? And let's face it, gas prices are the highest they've ever been in the country right now. So the cheapest place you can get gas is probably White Castle. But anyway, today I'm going to take you for a tour of the exterior as well as talk about some of the interior features, and then we're going to go ahead and take this for a spin. So stick around to the end to find out if this Niro is something that you should have on your radar. First things first, the Niro is the smallest SUV in the Kia lineup with a hybrid powertrain. It starts out at around $25K. It's practical, it's affordable, and has fantastic fuel economy. In fact, it's rated at 50 miles per gallon highway, 48 miles per gallon city, and has a combined MPG of 50 miles per gallon. Overall, the exterior won't wow you, but it also boasts features like 18-inch rims and has some cool features such as the DRLs that are located down here in the front fascia. Above that, you have these headlights that are pretty much similar to projectors, if you will, and they give it a nice look as well, and they look really good at night. There's also a light bar here, and then if you move to the right, you have this grille. And if you look at the grille, you'll notice that it has this diamond pattern here on the left side, and then as you move closer towards the center, it becomes a little bit more flat. Right above that, you have this nice big Kia logo. It's here in the front, it's also there in the back, and then also around the car you have all of these plastic pieces that are there, and some of them are not the cheap looking plastic pieces, but they're also a mix of those as well as some of those cheaper looking plastic pieces that I don't like. And I think overall it complements the car, but again, this is not something that is going to wow you when you look at it, but it's very practical for its use case. As we move towards the back, I want to just notate a couple things. So there are a couple lines here in the hood that give it a nice little bolder look, so it doesn't look like that standard plug-in hybrid. Also, the charge port is located here up front, and that just kind of pops open with a touch, and there you can just plug it up and charge it. But mind you, you only get 26 miles of range whenever you charge the battery in this Niro, so just keep that in mind. Now, as we move back as well, you have this nice little light bar as well here, so you can see the indicator or the turn signals when you turn those on. Blind spot detection is here, you got that. You have this little button on the side that you can press when you have the key fob on you that you can use to open the door. Yeah, so it's pretty much pretty standard. The gas tank is also located on the same side, but you have to open that from the interior of the vehicle. You can't just push on it and pop it out. I don't know if I really like that. I think that when cars kind of have the easy pop in, pop out feature, I think it should just be consistent with what you have there for the hybrid piece. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the cargo storage area. All right, so here at the rear of this Niro, just want to note again, you have some badging. So you see the Niro sign here, the logo here. You see the big, bold Kia logo here as well. And then you have this nice little eco plug-in badge to let you know that it's a plug-in hybrid. Now, the rear view camera is located here. You have some pretty cool light bars here. So these move with the actual trunk when you open it. And then down below, again, this is the cheap plastic that I'm talking about. So you got this, but it is a $25,000 car, so I'm not gonna knock it too much. But I think that they could have kept that consistent with some of the plastic that you have here. I think that really looks good. It's not quite like a piano black finish, but it just gives it a better look. So I think if they would have just accentuated that across and just kept that consistent, it would make it look a whole lot better, to me, in my opinion. So you have the reverse lights here that'll pop on when you actually put the car in reverse or you're parking or anything like that. So those are going to be your parking lights. So those are located down in the front fascia there. So some of the features on this are pretty similar to the Bolt when you think about the lights being in the actual fascia. One of the things that I don't like about this Niro is the fact that the trunk or this cargo area is pretty manual. I have to press a button underneath here to then pop that open, and it doesn't raise on its own. All right, so once you actually look in this cargo area, there's plenty of room in here. You can fit quite a bit of things. I think the storage space is pretty reasonable and pretty practical. There's also this little storage compartment that's down here. I don't know what you would typically use it for. Maybe you can fit some smaller items down there, but other than that, I don't really see people leveraging that much. And then if you can pop up this cargo floor, you can see some of the battery back here, but other than that, you don't really have too much underneath storage. Now, one cool thing is that you have this little privacy cover that you can pull out. It's also detachable if you don't want to keep that back there, and you have some larger items that you want to store back here. But I will say that the fact that it's sloped a little bit here in the rear, you kind of lose a little bit of cargo space. So you do have to be careful if you're trying to store some of those bigger items when you're putting them back here. One other thing to note is that if you fold the seats down flat, they don't go completely flat. They actually are elevated slightly, so it robs you of some of that cargo space that you would have if you were to put some of those bigger items if you were moving or something like that. So that is a little bit of a ding that I would have for this vehicle. It doesn't fold flat, but other than that, I think it's fine. But nothing really crazy to talk about back here. I think we can go ahead and take it on the inside now and talk about some of those interior features. All right, so as I sit inside this Niro, I must say that I'm quite impressed with the trim. So you have this blue stitching that's going along the door handle here. You also have some of this black trim with some silver and a little bit of chromish accents to it that really give it more of an upscale look on the interior. It makes it look a lot nicer, and it feels a lot nicer in here. That is also accentuated across this dash, across the vents, so you see some more of that black and that chrome or silver trim that you have here. It's accentuated across the steering wheel, this nice leather wrap steering wheel. It also has the blue stitching there. If you look at the gearbox, the blue stitching is also consistent there as well. So I think that there's been a lot of consistencies in this vehicle when you think about the stitching and the accents that have been placed inside of it. You then have this Harmon kardon sound system, which sounds phenomenal, by the way. And you can listen to a multitude of things. So whether you're listening to your music, your podcast, and this car also features sounds of nature that you can listen to on this 10-inch infotainment screen, which is very responsive to the touch when you're actually leveraging it. And it's pretty much a extension of your cell phone if you want to think about it like that. Right below that, you have your, standard controls such as your map, navigation, radio, media, so those types of buttons. And then below that, you have your standard climate control settings as well. And as I look down even further, you have a few charging options. So you have a 12-volt charger. You also have a couple USB ports that you can leverage. And then there's a wireless charging pad down below. Mind you, this is a $25,000 car, and it's boasting some attributes that you would find in more high-end upscale vehicles. Looking down, here's the EV charge or the EV mode button that you can use to switch from the gasoline mode to more of that hybrid EV purely electric mode. You only get 26 miles of range in that mode, as I mentioned before. And then moving down, which by the cup holders, there's a little area that I think is weird. And the reason why I think it's weird is because you have a few buttons here, well, really one button here that I think doesn't belong. You have the heated steering wheel button. It's located down here, and then right below that you have your heated and cooled seat settings, and that is going to be there for the driver as well as the passenger. And I think that's pretty cool. You don't really find a lot of those settings in these lower end vehicles. So I really think that they did a really good job incorporating all of these luxurious things that you would normally find in the higher end vehicles. Lastly, I want to touch on the digital dash. So you have this digital dash here, and it tells you things like your EV charge on the left hand side. It tells you your range as well. It tells you the direction in which you're traveling in, various vehicle settings, as well as how much range you have in terms of your gas mileage. So that's also there. Moving on back to the steering wheel, again, this is a nice leather wrap steering wheel. It's very comfortable. It fits very well in the palm of your hand. It's leather wrapped. You have your various vehicle settings here, so you have your cruise control on the right hand side, your gapping, your lane keeping assist. You also have your modes and volume control buttons here on the left-hand side to control things like the phone and switch between the radio and other functions. So I really think that this was really well thought out. And if I look down here to the left-hand side of the steering wheel, you have three buttons here, so you can use this to control your lighting or your illumination on your front-end gauge cluster to basically brighten it, or you can lower the brightness on it as well, depending on your liking. There's the lane keeping assist, and there's also the lane departure warning that you can configure here. So right below that, here's the gas button, and then a couple other buttons down here that you can use for various settings in regards to the EV modes and things like that. But other than that, the seats are really comfortable. They didn't miss with this one. So I will say that I really enjoy the comfort that you have in here. And you also have this little sunroof that you can take advantage of. So I think that's cool. So let's go ahead and head on to the back. All right, so here in the rear seats, I just want to point out that, again, you can see that I have plenty of room back here. The seat is kind of reclined a little bit, but I still have a bunch of knee space. Overhead clearance is not an issue as well. It's looking good, right? Like, look at all this clearance that I have. And going back to the doors real quick, as you enter this Niro, you still have this continuation of this nice silver trim and the black accents with the blue stitching that's going along the door handle. You also have this cup holder here, or really a bottle holder, and I'm putting my bottle in here right now, and it works out really well for the passenger back here. And then there's some Kia badging or some Niro badging as you enter, and that's going to be located all around on the four doors of the vehicle. So they did a really good job of badging this vehicle. And as I sit here, the seats are also comfortable, so just wanted to mention that as well. So there's very much so consistency across all of the different seats. You have this weird little hump that's in this middle seat area here, and you don't have a completely flat floor, so that's a little bit of an issue that you I wouldn't say it's a big issue, but it's not going to be a very comfortable ride if you had three people back here, if you're going on a long road trip and you had someone sitting here in this middle with this weird hump and then the hump on the floorboard. So you kind of lose that aspect. But I think that with two people back here for a road trip, I think it's fine. Three people, I think that's a definite no-no. The person sitting in the middle is definitely going to have some numb legs and probably a sore butt. Going right across, you have some vents back here for your climate control, and then you have one seat back storage pocket that you can use. So, I guess if you want to store documents or whatever that is, you can leverage that. But other than that, not really a ton to talk about back here. All right, it's time to drive. If you look real quick at the actual dashboard, you can see that there's a little notification letting me know that the sunroof is open. I think that's pretty dope. I haven't seen that in any vehicles before, so I like that. All right, cool little start graphics. All right, I see you. All right, let's do this thing. All right, so acceleration, pretty decent, I'd say. But again, this isn't a performance vehicle. It's handling the corners very well. It doesn't have that stiff suspension, and it's not going to wow you in terms of speed or an acceleration or anything like that, because frankly, that's not what this vehicle is made for. It has less than 200 horsepower. It's very much so the practical SUV or small SUV. So I would say so far so good. This 10-inch infotainment screen, while we're at the light, I'll just tell you a little bit more about that. So it does come equipped with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The only problem is that you have to have a wired connection. So that means your phone has to be plugged in. You have to remember to have a cable with you if you want to take advantage of the Apple CarPlay or the Android Auto. I think that sucks. A lot of cars now have wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, but I guess you still have Bluetooth audio if you don't want to use those things. So, and then you have the navigation that comes with the vehicle. So I guess no harm, no foul. If that's not a thing to you, it's a thing to me, but that's fine. But overall, I would say that the ride quality in this is pretty good. It's pretty comfortable. It handles some of the bumps really well, and it's just overall comfortable. And then complemented by the seats, and you're gonna kind of see it now. We're gonna go over a couple bumps. Yeah, those felt good. Oh my God, look at the gas prices. I don't know if you can see that, but the gas prices look crazy. I think premium right now is sitting at $7 a gallon, or a little bit over $7 a gallon. So you definitely want to make sure you have something like this nice, affordable plug-in hybrid. Yeah, I think this is good. The steering wheel feels good. The steering wheel is also, or the actual, it's pretty responsive. Like where I turn it, it goes. So no issues there. I think that this is well designed in that aspect. Again, ride quality is great. Ooh, acceleration, definitely not there. You heard that, right? It just like threw up pretty much. But I think that, again, this is a car that's going to be made for more practical use cases. Again, it has less than 200 horsepower, so you're not going to be really trying to blow this thing out or anything like that. I think that this vehicle is going to be very practical for someone that is going to be using it for a commuter car, or going on road trips, or just certain everyday driver type of use, you know, running to the grocery store, errands, all of those different things. I think this is the perfect vehicle to have in your arsenal if you're going to be doing those types of things. Now, I will say that although I do like this vehicle, I do like the accents that it has inside. I do like the fact that, you know, it is a plug-in hybrid and you get so much range. And you can also use the combination of the, you know, gas and then the electric mode, or the EV mode, that gives you the 26 miles of range, even though, as you can see, low battery for us right now, so we can't actually take advantage of it and use it. But I would say that as a whole, I like this vehicle, but I wouldn't say that it's a vehicle for me. But I would say that for someone that is in the market for something that's going to have pretty decent features and still give you good ride quality, and the frugal consumer is going to be the person that I would say that this vehicle is more so going to be targeted towards. It also boasts some pretty good safety features, as I mentioned before. So you have lane keeping assist, you have forward collision warning, you have lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring. All of these different things come with this vehicle. So not only is it efficient, but it's also very safe. But hit the comments if you own this vehicle. Let me know what you think. But other than that, I think this is a pretty solid vehicle.